All right, folks, let's talk about democracy. That magical little carnival game where you get to pull the lever, spin the wheel, and pretend you had a say in something. Oh yeah, the voting booth, the grand illusion of choice, the political circus. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up. 2 clowns enter, 1 clown leaves, and you're the one who paid for the tickets. That's the whole trick right there. They make you feel like you're part of the act, like you're in the center ring, but really you're just the guy holding the cotton candy while they pick your pockets. Every 4 years, the country rolls out the same big production like a Broadway show that never closes. New posters, new slogans, a fresh coat of paint on the same old set. Hope and change, morning in America. Oh, yes, we can. Make America something again. It's always something. And what do you get? 2 different brands of the same box of cereal. You think you're choosing between Frosted Flakes and Cheerios, but they're both made by the same company in the same factory with the same sugar coating. The only difference is which cartoon animal is on the box. And the commercials, oh, the commercials. That's where the circus really shines. One guy says, if you vote for him, the country will collapse, the economy will crash, and your dog will leave you for a richer family. Then the other guy comes on, if you vote for him, your children will grow up and change, your house will burn down, and the earth will spin off its axis into the sun. It's always the apocalypse, no matter who's running. They tell you the world's going to end if the other guy wins, but somehow the world never ends. It just keeps grinding along like a busted washing machine in a cheap motel. Now the parties, they like to pretend they're polar opposites. One's for the little guy, one's for business, one's for the environment, one's for jobs. But at the end of the day, they're both for the banks, they're both for the corporations, they're both for the people who pay for the commercials. They'll argue about abortion, guns, religion, and who's the bigger patriot. But when it comes time to write checks to defense contractors and tax breaks for billionaires, suddenly they're holding hands like prom dates. It's not politics, it's synchronized swimming, and the voters, bless their little hopeful hearts, they line up every election like kids at an amusement park, thinking this year the ride's going to be different. Oh boy, this time the roller coaster's going to take me somewhere new. No, it's the same rickety track, the same ups and downs, and the same puke at the bottom. And you paid extra for the fast pass. People argue, well, if you don't vote, you can't complain. That's one of my favorites. Oh, I can't complain. Really? You think this is going to stop me? Complaining is the only thing I've got left. That's my civic duty. Voting is just pushing a button. Complaining is a lifestyle. And look at the debates. My God, the debates. 2 grown adults in suits standing on a stage trying to act like they've got answers. They don't answer questions. They just juggle words like circus clowns. The moderator asks, what's your plan for the economy? And one says, jobs. The other one says, families. Then they wave their arms around and start yelling about each other's past mistakes. That's not a debate. That's professional wrestling without the costumes. If you want real information, you'd be better off reading the back of a shampoo bottle. At least those instructions tell you to lather, rinse, repeat. That's honest. That's the most accurate political advice you'll ever get. Lather, rinse, repeat. That's all democracy is. And let's not forget the primaries, that endless parade of hopefuls strutting around like roosters in a barnyard. Half of them drop out before you even remember their names. They show up in Iowa, eat corn dogs, kiss babies, and pretend to know what a tractor is. By the time the circus caravan rolls into New Hampshire, half the candidates are broke, sleeping in rental cars and begging for gas money. Then one by one, they drop out, and you're left with the same 2 clowns you were always going to have. It's like a magic trick. Here's 10 choices. No way, here's 5. 3, presto. Same 2 assholes as last time. And people actually fight over this. That's the part that gets me. They scream, they yell, they cut off their families, they break friendships. If you vote for it, I'll never talk to you again. Folks, calm down. These people don't give a damn about you. They don't even know your name. You're fighting over which millionaire gets to sit in the big chair and tell you what to do. That's not loyalty. That's Stockholm Syndrome. And the money, oh, the money. Billions of dollars poured into campaigns, commercials, rallies, ads, balloons, confetti, all for one lousy job. You know why it costs that much? Because the people paying for it expect a return on their investment. Nobody's dropping $50 million on a campaign because they love democracy. No, they want a favor. They want a law. They want a tax loophole. They want the government to look the other way while they dump toxic sludge in your drinking water. And they'll get it too, because that's how the game works. You can't get elected without big money, and big money doesn't give without strings attached, and those strings aren't going to you. You don't even get to touch the string. You're not even in the puppet show. You're just the guy clapping in the audience. And every 4 years, they come back with the same pitch. This is the most important election of your lifetime. Really, they said that last time. They'll say it next time. Every election is the most important one ever. It's like a bad movie franchise. This time, it's personal? No, it's not. It's business. It's always business. And you're the customer and the product is bullshit, you ever notice how the choices are always limited? 2 parties, that's it, 2 out of millions of people in the country. These are your options. It's like going to a restaurant with the biggest menu in the world, and the waiter says, tonight's special is chicken or fish. That's it, chicken or fish. Yeah, but the chicken might destroy the economy, and the fish might start a war. And you better choose, because if you don't, you're the problem. And the language they use, the language. The American people have spoken. No, they haven't. Half the American people didn't even show up. The other half were split down the middle. That's not speaking. That's mumbling in your sleep. The people have given us a mandate. A mandate. That's not a mandate. That's a coin toss. You won by 2%, and now you think you're Moses with the 10 Commandments. Get over yourself. And they love to talk about turnout. This year, voter turnout was historic. Yeah, historic compared to what? People stayed home because they're tired of the circus. They don't want to watch the same act again. It's like going to see a magician who keeps pulling the same dead rabbit out of the same hat. Eventually, you stop buying tickets, and they blame you. Shame on you for not voting. No, shame on you for giving me these lousy choices. And the best part, the absolute best part, is that no matter who wins, nothing really changes. The wars keep going. The rich keep getting richer. The poor keep getting poorer. The schools keep falling apart. The bridges keep collapsing, and the circus packs up, takes a nap, and gets ready to roll back into town in 4 years. Same tent, same clown, same overpriced popcorn. That's democracy. Folks, the grand illusion. They give you just enough hope to keep you quiet, just enough choice to make you feel like you matter, and just enough bread and circuses to keep you distracted. And in the end, it doesn't matter which clown you picked, because the circus never leaves town. And here's the punchline, folks. You don't really get to choose. You just get to pick. You know, people love to say, the people run this country. Oh, yeah, which people? I must have missed that meeting. I didn't get the memo. Nobody sent me the minutes. Because as far as I can tell, the people running this country aren't the ones stuck in traffic. They're not the ones working double shifts at Walmart. And they're not the ones filling out tax forms at the kitchen table with a calculator that still has ketchup stains from 1983. No, the ones running the show are the owners, the big shots, the guys behind the curtain, the people who own the stage, the tent, the seats, the lights, the popcorn machine, and yes, even the elephants. They're the ones with the real power. You don't have power. You think you do, but you don't. They hand you a little joystick called voting, tell you you're steering the car, but the wheel isn't connected to anything. It's a toy. It's a Fisher-Price democracy. My first republic. Meanwhile, the people with the real steering wheel are doing 90 on the freeway, and you're just in the back seat yelling, "Go left!" They're not listening to you. They're listening to the sound of the cash register. And who are these owners? You know who they are? It's not a mystery. They've got offices on Wall Street. They've got towers with their names on them. They've got yachts with helicopters on the back. A helicopter on a boat. That's when you know you're not in the same species anymore. These aren't people. These are cartoon villains with better tailoring. And they've got politicians in their pockets like spare change. You ever wonder why politicians never look surprised by anything? Because they're not supposed to be surprised. They already got the script. They're not leaders, they're actors. And the directors are sitting in boardrooms deciding what the next scene is going to be. That's how it works. You think a senator gets up in the morning, looks in the mirror and says, "What can I do for the people today?" No. They wake up and say, "What can I do for the people who wrote me the checks today?" Because those checks don't come with smiles. They come with strings, big, heavy strings, like ropes on a marionette. And if you don't dance the way they want you to dance, they cut you loose and buy a new puppet. You ever notice that no matter who gets elected, the same things always seem to happen? Taxes never really go down for you, but they sure as hell go down for corporations. Wars don't end, they just change zip codes. Healthcare gets talked about every 4 years, and then nothing happens. Because if anything really changed, somebody would lose money. And the people who own the game don't like losing money. Losing money is for you. That's your department. You lose jobs, pensions, savings, houses. They lose nothing. In fact, every time you lose, they make money. That's the beauty of it. They set up a system where your misery is their profit. That's efficiency. That's capitalism with a sense of humor. And let's talk about those corporations. These are not companies anymore, they're kingdoms. They've got their own laws, their own armies of lawyers, their own public relations sorcerers who can make you believe anything. You ever see a commercial for a bank? Happy families, sunshine, golden retrievers running through a field. They don't show you the part where they foreclose on your grandmother's house and throw her toaster in the street. No, it's all smiles and piano music. We care about you. You know what they care about? Interest. Compound interest. That's the only compound they know. They don't care about you. If you died tomorrow, they wouldn't shed a tear. They just sell your debt to a collection agency and keep moving. And the owners don't just stop at money. Oh, no, they want your mind too. They own the media. They own the newspapers, the television networks, the radio stations. You think you're getting information. You're getting a script. You're getting whatever they decided was safe for you to know. They don't tell you the news. They tell you the story. And they tell it over and over again until you believe it. This is the most important election ever. These are the bad guys. Those are the good guys. Your life will be better if you just keep shopping. That's the mantra, buy more stuff. Because if you're busy shopping, you don't have time to notice the strings. And the owners are smart. Oh, they're very smart. They don't waste time arguing over little things like you do. No, they know what's important. They meet behind closed doors, smoke big cigars, and laugh about how easy it is to keep you distracted. Sports, TV shows, pop stars, gadgets. Bread and circuses, baby bread and circuses. The Romans had the Colosseum. We've got 24-hour cable news and celebrity scandals. Who's dating who said what on Twitter, who wore what on the red carpet. Meanwhile, the owners are moving money from one offshore account to another and buying another congressman before lunch. And the lobbying, don't forget the lobbying. You know what lobbying is? It's bribery in a nice suit. That's all it is. They don't even hide it. They walk right into the office with a suitcase full of money, and instead of calling the cops, the politician says, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" And then they write the laws exactly the way the lobbyist wants them. That's why the laws are so confusing, because they weren't written for you. They were written by corporate lawyers who wanted to make sure their bosses never had to pay taxes again. Try reading a tax code sometime. It's like reading Sanskrit underwater. And that's the point. You're not supposed to understand it. You're supposed to just give up and pay. And when the owners really want something, they don't even bother with laws. They just make a phone call. That's all it takes. One phone call, and suddenly there's a new war, a new bailout, a new loophole. And you didn't even get a chance to blink. You're too busy arguing with your neighbor about who's the real patriot. Meanwhile, the owners are cashing another dividend check. It's a beautiful system. Beautiful for them anyway. For you, it's like being in an abusive relationship. They keep hitting you, and you keep saying, but they said they'd change this time. They're not going to change. They don't have to. They own everything. And let's not kid ourselves. These owners don't think of you as citizens. They don't even think of you as customers. You're the product. You're the raw material. They take your work, your time, your energy, your creativity. They process it, package it, and sell it back to you at a markup. That's the game. You're not the player. You're the chips. And the house always wins. And every now and then, they throw you a bone, a tax rebate, a stimulus check, a pat on the head. Here you go. Now run along and buy something shiny, and you fall for it every time. Oh, look, the government cares about us. No, they don't. The government is just the middleman. The government is the customer service department of the owners. You think you're voting for leaders, but you're really just choosing which customer service rep you're going to get stuck with for the next 4 years. Press 1 for English. Press 2 for bullshit. That's your choice. And you know how you can tell who the real owners are? Look at the rules. Look at who gets punished and who doesn't. You smoke a little weed, you go to jail. A corporation launders billions of dollars in drug money. They pay a fine and go golfing. You write a bad check, you get arrested. A bank commits fraud that wrecks the economy, they get a bailout. That's the rule. Little people get punished, big people get bonuses. And you keep believing the system works because they told you in school that it does. They told you this was the land of opportunity. Well, it is. The opportunity belongs to the people who already own everything. And don't even get me started on campaign promises. That's the funniest part of the whole scam. Every 4 years, they come out with their list of promises. We're going to fix the schools. We're going to fix the roads. We're going to fix health care. Fix, fix, fix. They're not going to fix anything. They can't. Because if they fixed anything, the owners would lose leverage. Broken systems are profitable. Crumbling schools mean private tutors. Bad health care means private insurance. Falling bridges mean construction contracts. Nothing gets fixed because the money is in the broken parts. That's the business model. And still, people defend it. That's the genius of it. They've convinced you that this is the best system in the world. The greatest show on earth. They wrap it in flags, play some anthems, shoot off some fireworks, and you forget that you're the one cleaning up the confetti while they're counting money backstage. You're loyal to a game that was rigged from the start. You're cheering for a team that doesn't even know you're in the stadium. And when you finally figure it out, when you finally say, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong here, you know what they tell you? If you don't like it, leave. Leave. Where are you going to go? They own everywhere else too. That's the owners of the game, folks. The ones you never see. Never vote for, never get to question. They don't run for office, they buy the offices. They don't stand in line at polling places, they own the polling places. They don't care who you pick because they already picked both of them. That's why the system works so perfectly. For them, not for you, not for me. For them. And here's the punchline, they don't need your permission. They already own your choice. You know what the funniest part of this whole democracy circus is? It's not the clowns, it's not the ringmasters, it's not even the people who own the tent. It's the audience, it's you. It's me. It's everybody sitting in the bleachers, munching on stale popcorn, laughing at the wrong times, clapping when they're told, booing when they're told. That's the real trick. They've convinced you that you're free while you're sitting in a cage. That's the comfortable prison. You don't even see the bars because they painted them red, white, and blue and hung a couple of flags on them. That's the beauty of the whole thing. They don't need to lock you up. You lock yourself up. They taught you the rules when you were a kid. Pledge allegiance, respect authority, don't question the teacher, line up, sit down, shut up, raise your hand. That's not education. That's training camp for obedience. By the time you're old enough to vote, you're already programmed. They don't even have to tell you what to do. You tell yourself, you actually believe you're making choices. That's not freedom. That's hypnosis. Look at television. They've got you glued to the screen, not just for entertainment, but for control. The news, the sitcoms, the reality shows, it's all one big tranquilizer. They pump it right into your living room every night. Don't worry, folks, keep shopping, keep working, keep watching, and everything will be just fine. And the commercials, my God, the commercials. Half the country thinks freedom means choosing between 17 brands of laundry detergent. I'm free! I can pick Tide or Cheer or All or Gain or some generic brand that smells like a wet sock. That's your freedom. 100 choices that don't matter, and no choices where it really counts. And the best part, you defend it. You actually defend the prison. You get mad at anyone who points it out. If someone says, hey, this system doesn't seem to be working, the first thing out of your mouth is, if you don't like it, leave. That's not freedom talk. That's prisoner talk. That's the guy in the next cell saying, hey, don't rattle the bars. You'll make the warden mad. People don't want freedom. They want comfort. They want safety. They want the illusion of control. Actual freedom is scary. Actual freedom means risk, uncertainty, danger. People don't want that. They want Netflix, football, and a 2-car garage. That's not freedom. That's minimum security. And don't think for a second they don't know this. They know exactly how much freedom to give you so you don't complain. They let you pick your toothpaste, pick your television shows, pick your phone plan. But don't try picking who owns the banks or who owns the oil or who writes the tax laws. That's not on the menu. That's in the warden's office. And you don't get to go in there. They've even got you believing you're special. The land of the free, home of the brave, shining city on a hill. Meanwhile, you're working 3 jobs to pay for health insurance that doesn't cover dental. You're not free, you're broke. And broke